Well, allow me to just eat my words. I honestly wasn't sure how much I would have to say about this episode, let alone if it would be enough to write a whole video. Surprisingly, the answer turned out to be a lot, and if The Ghost is what I consider this show at its most then Meet the New Boss is the show as I like it. Fun, relatively interesting, and character-driven. The more I think about it, the more The Ghost, though it still should have had more going on, was cool in that it at least introduced both plot threads in such a way that now I feel acclimated to focusing on them both in the same episode without being distracting. Even though there's actually way more plot going on here than last episode. How ironic. If it were up to me, I'd have premiered both of these episodes at the same time as one 2-hour story. But since that's not what we have, it's recap time again. After confronting Robbie Reyes in the previous episode, Daisy goes to his garage having read up on him, and after yet another punch-out, the two find themselves crossing paths with S.H.I.E.L.D. at the same power plant, which is currently housing a bunch of what can only be called ghosts. Agent May had a run-in with these ghosts last episode, and the encounter results in her seeing everyone around her as possessed by some evil entity. On top of all that, as the title suggests, we get some insight as to who the new director is, namely a super-strong people-pleaser named Jeffrey, who's assigned Coulson and Simmons to touring a group of politicians as S.H.I.E.L.D. is unveiled as a legitimate organization for the first time since Captain America the Winter Soldier. Starting with what everyone is still the most excited about, yes, Robbie Reyes is still great, and I've got enough of a feel for Gabriel Luna's performance now to say that I really like it. I wouldn't say that he's had any standout acting moments, but he's got a great presence for a guy who I'd honestly say looks kind of unassuming. It's nice to have a character who's so little talk, so much action, one who cuts to the chase and wastes no time. He and Daisy have some pretty fun chemistry, and I like how their interactions have played out like classic superhero crossover stories, with two named superheroes fighting once, twice, before teaming up once the misunderstandings are cleared. They aren't exactly friends yet, but they do have the makings of a cool double act. Speaking of cool double acts, it's great to see Mac and Fitz back together, and my one big laugh of the episode came from their banter. Their plotline is what ties into the Daisy and Robbie stuff, as well as our new mysterious ghostly adversaries. I like how this plays out for a number of reasons. I like that we don't have to wait more than 2 episodes before the other agents know where Daisy is and begin confronting her on it, and I like that even though they've converged, she's still off doing her own thing and she hasn't come back into the fold just because she's got guilted by Mac and Fitz. I'm also glad that these two specifically are the ones who find her, since Mac is the only character who I can really buy having an objection against killing, which he confronts Daisy about. Given the amount of death these guys have caused pretty regularly, even if their default weapons are made to incapacitate rather than kill, having the "you don't get to decide who lives or dies" argument would have felt forced coming from anyone but him. By that same token, I like that Fitz is the one who calls Daisy out for turning her back on the team because of all the horrible things she's gone through, since after her and Coulson, he's probably the main character that's gone through the most trauma, and he's gone through a similar arc himself about feeling like a liability. I just like that it felt that we were being really deliberate when we chose those two to reflect where Daisy is right now. Also, yay for the Ghost Rider and Agent stuff finally starting to intersect, even though it's a bit undercut by the fact that the rider effects look noticeably worse than they did last episode. They've gone from something that I think could have looked passable in a feature film to something that only looks okay by television standards. The Ghost Rider skull never looked like a real skull, but that's mainly because of how it was stylized. Here, however, it looks sorta like a weird green plastic. Speaking of that scene, though, I'm intrigued by where we're going with all of the spooky, scary ghosts. The arc of the season, or at least the first half of the season, seems to be building itself around those guys, and I'm interested to see where further episodes will take them. I'm also really genuinely not sure where things are going with the new director. Coulson asked for a replacement with powers that the public could trust, and you can see why Jeffrey here was chosen. He's affable, but also played a bit unnatural in that regard. Part of me wants to assume he's going to be a big problem later on, but another part thinks that the show is playing up how untrustworthy he seems, since it seems like at least once a season, the show likes to build a seemingly dubious character and then pull the rug out from under us with the twist that they're actually a full-blown good guy. Honestly, he seems a lot like a less jaded, more bureaucratic version of Coulson, and I look forward to seeing how that parallel is played with in the future. The last plotline we have to worry about is May going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and I'm also glad that that isn't being dragged out as much as it obviously could. Somehow, whatever's infected May goes beyond just seeing things. She's interpreting things differently than someone normally would, and she seems to think that she has an acute knowledge of what's wrong with everyone, even though her solution is to beat it out of them. Typical May, I guess. Honestly, though, I like how much we're throwing this character for a loop. Seeing her subdued on the Quinjet at the end, literally tied up in a straitjacket and screaming bloody murder, is so out of character that it's honestly kind of haunting. Although, like everyone else, I have to question why they would put her on the same Quinjet as the political dignitaries. Like, honestly, what are you thinking? Are you stupid? Honestly, though, this was a really good episode. It always kept me interested, and despite having a lot of stuff going on, it didn't feel overstuffed or understuffed like last week's. I felt like I got why we were focusing on the things that we focused on this time around, and I'm looking forward to seeing each of these plot lines get followed up on, including the new girl with a crush on May. I mean, honestly, you might as well just write "Notice Me, Senpai" on her forehead. There you go. Well, glad that that's settled. The last thing I needed was a reason for other fans of this show to get on my case again. That said, if you're wondering what the whole deal is with my thoughts on the previous episode, then you can check out the links in the description or on the screen to my review. Also featured is a link to a playlist of another show that I review semi-regularly, that being Doctor Who. I'll get back to that in due time, guys, I promise. That said, like the video if you enjoyed it, and maybe subscribe also if you enjoyed it, because that's good for me.